Students, today in this video we will discuss about the second part of the lesson Lost Spring Stories of Stolen Childhood written by Anis Jung, and the title for the second part is I Want to Drive a Car. Students, in our first video, we have read about Sahib who was a rag picker, and now in second video we will discuss about Mukesh, a bangle maker. In this part, the author describes the plight of people working in bangle making industry of Firozabad. Almost every other family in Firozabad is engaged in making glass bangles. Once she comes across a boy named Mukesh. Mukesh, he is a child laborer in family profession of bangle making at Firozabad, and Firozabad this is famous for bangles. He is daring and different from other young children of Firozabad who have submitted to age old miseries and traditional profession. Workers who are working in these factories of bangles, they even don't get two times meal every day. But Mukesh is different from others, as we have read earlier also. He wants to become a motor mechanic and his own master. And he is so determined for the same that he is even ready to travel long way to reach garage to accomplish his desire of becoming a motor mechanic. Now, let's know something more about Mukesh and the other bangle makers like him. The working and living conditions of the people of Firozabad are very miserable. About 20,000 children work illegally in the glass furnaces with high temperatures. They live in stinking lanes which are chalked with garbage. Their houses are hovels. Hovels means huts with crumbling walls, wobbly doors, and with no window. They are crowded with families of humans and animals. It means here in the houses, humans and animals live together. Authors get Author gets a chance to visit Mukesh's house. His house is like any other house in the lane, which is half built shack with thatched grass roof and a wobbly iron door, where three generations grandmother, whose grandmother? Mukesh's grandmother, father, elder brother, and his wife lived together. When the author entered Mukesh's house, she noticed a frail young woman. She was the wife of Mukesh's elder brother, and at that time she was cooking food on a firewood stove, and near her aluminium utensils were lying on the floor. The author also observed custom of covering face with veil in front of male elders. Mukesh's father, he was very old and weak, who had lost his eyesight with the dust from polishing glass bangles. He had worked hard for all his life, but he couldn't afford to send his two sons to school. He was even unable to renovate the house. The only legacy which he could hand over to his sons is the art of bangle making. When the author met Mukesh's grandmother, she expressed her belief in fate, destiny. She said that it was their karma, that they were born into bangle maker's caste, and no one could change what was already decided by fate. Generations after generation, families of bangle makers have been engaged in making bangles, but little has changed with the passage of time. Years of mind numbing toil has killed the initiative of the young people. They can't organize themselves into a cooperative. Why? As they find themselves in the clutches of sahukars, middlemen, policemen, bureaucrats, and politicians. If they try to get out of this vicious circle of middleman, they are in trouble. Why? Because the police would beat them and put them in jail. Children are the victim of two worlds. Children who are working in the bangle making industries, they are the victim of two worlds. One is to be born in the poverty stricken family with the stigma of caste, and another world is of these middlemen, sahukars, policemen, politicians, etc. These two circles, they bind them. They don't allow them to fulfill their dreams. They don't allow them to organize themselves in cooperative. So, it's not easy for a bangle maker to do something different. But Mukesh's eyes are full of hope. He chooses to be different from others. He wants to be a motor mechanic. He is practical with down to earth approach and dreams only about those things which are in his reach. So he is content to dream of cars only that move down the streets of his town. Few planes fly over Firozabad, as he has never seen flying planes in the sky. That's why he doesn't think of uh, flying the planes. So this is all about your lesson. Now, after reading this lesson, after discussing the main points, what do you learn? What message comes in your mind that this lesson conveys? So, the message conveyed by this lesson is it present two stories of stolen childhood. The characters and places are different in both the stories, but the problem is the same. Thousands of Sahibs and Mukesh are condemned to live a life of misery and exploitation, and troublesome poverty and traditions compel children to work in the most inhuman and hostile conditions. The author succeeds in highlighting the plight of such unfortunate children. And as far as the theme is concerned, this lesson is a description of those poor children who are condemned to poverty and a life of exploitation. The two protagonists of the chapter, Sahib and Mukesh, they lose their childhood while carrying the burden of poverty and illiteracy. In their bleak stories of exploitation, the author finds glimpses of resilience and hope. Now, to understand the lesson better, the difficult words are given here: mirage, illusion, dingy, dark and dirty, slog, work hard, impoverished, very poor, stinking, foul smelling, chalked, blocked, hovels, sheds, wobbly, shaky, frail, weak, veil, face cover, lineage, ancestry, mounds, heaps, drab, dull, vicious, wicked. Vicious, wicked. Now it's time to four questions to answer. First question is, what makes the city of Firozabad famous? Some value points are given here. Mention the hazards of working in the glass bangles industry. Third one, how is Mukesh's attitude, his situation different from that of his family? What forces conspire to keep the workers in the Bengal industry at Firozabad in poverty? Next, how, in your opinion, can Mukesh realize his dream? Comment on the similarities and dissimilarities in the situations of Sahib and Mukesh. Last one. What kind of life do Bengal makers lead? What forces them to continue living in those conditions? My dear students, these value points are just for your help. Use your creativity, and after understanding this lesson, try to write your own ideas in these questions. So, this is all about our second chapter, that is Lost Spring. Thank you. Thank you so much.